One win in 7 games for Manchester United as they fall to 8th place in the table.
And today, we didn't do. We were not in a fight. We didn't cover each other. We let each other down. So really disappointing.
Glasner's Crystal Palace smash 4 past a woeful Manchester United.
One of the great Selhurst Park performances from Crystal Palace.
Hello guys, welcome back to BoreDraw, episode number 96. Today we're going to be discussing all things Manchester United. We're going to be talking about how they absolutely capitulated at Selhurst Park. We're going to be talking a little bit about Erik Ten Hag, what it means for him, a little bit about what the squad needs in terms of a refresh. We're going to be looking back at one of our previous videos where we did how to fix Man United.
I feel like every other video is us talking about how Man United are absolutely pants. And here we are again.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. They are pants and we're here to fix it.
So obviously they lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. It was a bad night for the travelling Manchester United fans. I mean,
they put on a good show, to be fair, the Man United fans. Jamie Carragher gave them their kudos, or Mohammed kudos, at the end of the match. But then he went on an absolute rampage, said Casemiro should throw in the towel. He fully said, like, we banter and we say, oh yeah, Saudis call him, blah, blah, blah.
Start learning Arabic.
Time to learn Saudi, buddy. Yeah, that is literally what he said about Casemiro, which is mental on actual prime TV.
But he has a fair point. I mean, sometimes players hold on too long. He was so good when he first came to Man United. But since then, he just looks leggy. He looks tired. He looked like he was playing a different game.
He's so slow, so rash as well. The first goal that Crystal Palace score, he like dives. He's playing centre back this game because there's no fit centre backs. And he's playing centre back and he dives in pretty much on the halfway line to try and tackle Elise, who just skips past him because he's a different level. And then you've got your centre back out of position on the floor on the halfway line. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then no one makes a track and run. They're just letting him drive through the middle of the pitch. He wasn't even driving with speed. He was just sort of slowly waltzing through them. But Jamie Carragher said something which I thought was quite highbrow for him. He said,
I think he's quite a good pundit, to be fair.
No, he does. He's obviously, he knows the game. But he said the worst thing you can do, or the best thing you can do, is leave football before football leaves you.
Jeez.
And it's true. I mean, he could probably go MLS, Inter Miami will probably pay him a hefty salary, or go Saudi, Al Nassr will pay him a hefty salary. Like, he's got options, and sometimes you just got to know when time's up.
There's just no way he should be playing top level football at Man United.
And we'll come on to discuss the other people around him and in the squad who also should not be playing top level football, because Man United are not playing top level football.
They are. We were talking about it earlier in the season, how for a team that had a minus goal difference, every time we watch them, they're absolutely pants. How are they so high in the table? That is starting to not be the case. They are starting to tumble down the table now.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
they're 8th now.
Before the game, going into it, we knew that they were having a bit of an injury crisis at centre-back. No Maguire, no Varane, no... what's his name?
Lindelof.
No Martinez.
Kwambala.
Yeah, I mean, no Luke Shaw. It's not great. You're starting with the centre-back pairing of Johnny Evans, who's 56 years old, and Casemiro, who is 57 years old. And it absolutely showed. I mean...
When you've got young, electric talent like Eze and Elise coming at you, mate, you're going to get... That's literally like a kid that is playing football his whole life, excited by the game, and he's just got some new football boots, and his granddad's come over for Christmas Day, and the granddad's like, I'll put on your Christmas football boots and we'll go play out in the garden, and the kid just runs laps around him.
Yeah,
and that is literally what these boys...
in the ICU.
That's literally what these boys have been doing to the Man United back line. It's embarrassing.
I mean, it's just been poor. I mean, we go into this knowing that Andre Onana has faced like an incredible amount of shots, and it just goes to show, because they have a great midfielder in Kobe Manu, but I don't think he protects the back line.
No, he's good in a... That's why he's shone for England.
He's like a terrier.
Because you've got Declan Rice there, you've got a back line that are cohesive, and you're dominating the ball. So he's on the ball, he can progress the ball well. If you're under the cosh, he's not really that guy.
No. They had no Bruno Fernandes as well. Missed his first game through injury in his entire career.
Which is actually nuts, yeah.
Which is crazy. I'm surprised he hasn't been injured more with the amount that he rolls around on the floor. But yeah, it was just poor all round. I mean, there's just so much work to do in the summer. There's so much work to do behind the scenes. I mean, the first thing you've got to ask is, does Ten Hag make the end of the season? I saw Michael Owen come out and say perhaps the Man United board needs to do something radical and to save their season.
Season gone.
Well, they've got an FA Cup final to play for.
That's true, yeah.
So maybe it's something. I mean, even if you go and win your last 2 games, get a new manager in, you win your last 2 games, you might even have a chance of winning the FA Cup, because at the minute it just looks like they're going to get turned over by Arsenal and they're going to get turned over by City.
Facts.
And there is no way about it. This lineup going into the game, I looked at it and thought, this is mental. But Crystal Palace for me are heavy favourites. And
then you look at the bench, and how can Crystal Palace have a better bench than Man United? Mark Goldbridge, I don't like him, and I quote tweeted his tweet where he was like, "This is David versus Goliath tonight," and somehow he's labelled Crystal Palace as Goliath against Man United. No way in football ever, no matter what's happened, what is happening, what has happened, what could happen, there is no situation ever in Premier League football where you can say Man United are not the Goliath against Crystal Palace.
100%.
It's embarrassing.
I mean,
that's what Ten Hag done to these men.
But we look at the talent they had on the pitch anyway. They had a £50 million right back in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They had, what did they pay for Onana?
About 60 million.
About 60 million. Rasmus Højlund was 80 million?
Yeah.
Anthony, 80 million.
Yeah.
They had
Mason Mount, 60 million.
Mason Mount, yeah. I mean, it's not like they had no money on the pitch.
Absolutely zero sympathy for them.
Crystal Palace were excellent.
That it's just the difference between a well-regimented team where the coaching style has been imparted by the manager, everybody's on the same page, players are confident, versus a team, yes, injuries, and we'll talk about that, but a team where there is no clear style, the manager has no faith in the players and the players have no faith in the manager, and it came to show 4-0. Let's talk about Ten Hag. You brought him up.
Go on.
You mentioned, does he make it to the end of the season? And then, I don't know about a radical decision, but in the summer, obviously, there's a lot of talks about him getting sacked in the summer no matter what. And
it has to be. It has to be the case.
It has to be. I tweeted, there is no way he can survive and get another season.
He's had the opportunity to bring in his players. He's had the opportunity to make wholesale changes. He's had the opportunity to implement a style of play. And none of it's come to fruition. Absolutely none of it.
They are getting
back-to-back
worse.
FA Cup finals is fine. It's all well and good. But you've only got to win like 4 games or 5 games to get there. And yes, you have to beat good opposition. They beat Liverpool, which is good. But in one-off results, it only gets you so far.
100%.
Because you're going to get to the final and you're going to get absolutely done. It's going to be cataclysmic, and that's embarrassing. You're almost better off not getting to the final, going out in a tight FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, than going to the final getting battered by your closest
rivals. Well, they almost
rivals.
didn't make the semi-final. They fucking almost lost against Coventry.
Oh mate, it's so poor.
And like I said, this team is getting worse. I'll hit you with some statistics. Man United have conceded 81 goals so far this season. We're not even at the end of the Premier League season yet. And they've conceded 81 goals. That's the most in their club's history since 1976. So that's nearly 50 years since they've conceded this many goals. Another statistic for you. This is the first time in their history ever that they've lost 13 games in the Premier League season. So they are breaking records, but bad records. Let's talk about injuries. Is it down to injuries? Ten Hag said, did you watch his interview with Gary Neville?
No.
It's a lot of waffle, in my opinion.
I find him so insufferable.
He is insufferable. Every question that Gary Neville kind of hit him with, his rebuttal was always injuries or not being able to sign the right players. And we'll talk about the injuries in a sec. Not being able to sign the right players. Man United fans, let me know in the comments if I'm missing something. Has there been players that he's wanted that he hasn't got. Because from the outside looking in, he wanted Malacia, got Malacia. He wanted Martinez, got Martinez. He wanted Anthony, got Anthony. He wanted Højlund, got Højlund.
Wanted Onana, got Onana.
Mason Mount. So I don't really understand what he keeps saying about... I think the one that Gary Neville brought up in the interview was Frankie de Jong. But if it's non-successful transfer and 6 that he got that he wanted, then he can't use that as an excuse, surely.
No, 100%. And I think I know what you're referring to. I think he said you need a player like Frankie to sit in the system to make it work. But if you don't get him, then change the system.
Or he's not such a unicorn player that like you can't find someone similar.
I'm not being funny yet, but like, all right, he didn't get him.
Yeah.
So what? You're going to try and stick Eriksen in there and make it work? Like, you're a Premier League manager at the biggest club in world football, right? On ridiculous wages, and you can't even think to implement a different system to change it up. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. It boggles the mind.
It does.
Because I have seen nothing to suggest that Manchester United with a good transfer window will compete, because I think it goes so much further than that.
Yeah.
And I struggle to believe that they'll have a good transfer window, because I haven't seen them bringing a player that I thought, that's a banging signing. The only one that I think he's got any credit to it is probably Rasmus Højlund, because I think he is going to be a good player. But that doesn't solve any of the issues at the other end of the pitch, where you've conceded 81 goals. I know you've had a lot of injuries with your backline, but you like we say with players, your team's only as good as the games they play. If you've got a backline full of people who are made out of glass, then it's no good to anyone. They could be the best footballer in the world, but if they only play 10% of the game a season, it's no good to anyone.
Reece James, we're talking about you.
Yeah. I mean, Wan-Bissaka, fine. Diego Dallo's probably been their most consistent defender. Maybe they're one of the most consistent players.
Yeah, 100%.
Johnny Evans wasn't expected to play at all.
And now
he's relegated with Leicester.
Yeah.
And then he's probably made the most appearances for them in centre backs. Harry Maguire got scapegoated, maybe somewhat rightfully, but he's come into the team. He's actually not been so bad, but he's been somewhat of a decent player in a horrific defensive line. Varane.
Pants,
mate.
Saudi,
I don't know. Yeah, he needs to go with Casemiro. Lisandro Martinez. How many games has he played this season?
Yeah, well, he got forced back too quickly, didn't he? A few months ago, and now he's out for even longer.
Luke Shaw,
the injuries. Injured. What is going on there? Is it something deeper than bad luck? Is it? I've heard rumours that the training that Ten Hag is trying to implement is too intense.
But mate, what do you mean? Have you seen what they do on the pitch? It doesn't look like they train at all.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. Man United fans, let us know, what is the injury cause? Is it just bad luck? Is it Ten Hag's training too intense? Is it the style of play? I've seen
Is it the players?
Another line of thought that like transitional play is a lot more demanding, and maybe these players can't keep up with the transitional style of play.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe I've got this wrong, but it seems to me that all their problems, injury wise, are towards the defensive side of the pitch.
Left back and centre back, yeah.
I know Rasmus Højlund missed a few games towards the beginning, and he's had a few games in and out, but he's been there for the most part. I think Anthony's been thereabouts, apart from that incident that happened earlier in the season. Rashford's, I don't think, has missed too many games apart from just being dropped. Garnacho's been there or thereabouts. Bruno's only missed one game in his entire career. Kobe Mainu, since he's come in, I don't think he's missed many games.
Nah.
Scott McTominay even, I know he missed the last game, but it seems to me that all their issues are at the back of the defensive line.
Why though?
Are they just smashing each other to bits in training?
That's it.
Like,
who knows?
It's mental. But yeah, so let's go into the summer, and we're going to take the hypothetical that Erik Ten Hag, on the final day of the season, goes round, applauds Old Trafford, and then it's released later that he's sacked. Who do they get in? So, because for me, I see one scenario playing out. They go to this club up here, who are already getting rid of their manager. It's been confirmed.
For the audio listeners, he pointed at the Bayern Munich shirt.
And then so Thomas Tuchel, Erik Ten Hag, straight swap.
Yeah,
but I can't even imagine.
How's Ten Hag failed upwards to Bayern?
Why anyone would want him?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want him?
Both of them, in the sense of failing. Well, not that Man United is an upward move from Bayern, but both of them somehow failed in their current roles unless Tommy Tuchel gets the Champions League.
Okay, but I know Bayern
And then they just swap and fail again in new roles?
I know Bayern have had a bad season by their standards, but they're still finishing second in the league to a team who's currently unbeaten in all competitions.
Not good enough. They
no, I know,
should
yeah,
win.
I know, but that the team above them are unbeaten in all competitions.
Record breaking.
Nuts. I think they've just matched Benfica's all-time record.
48, yeah.
And he's got him into a Champions League semi-final.
True that.
Potentially a final.
I think Thomas Tuchel is definitely an upgrade on 10.
100%.
So
And I
Man
think
United
he's
coming out of that
he's
deal
much more
buzzing.
You're going to see instant results with him, I think. I find it very hard to see him come in and have less of an impact than Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And I think he's better at making average players look better. Whereas Ten Hag, I think he's I need a specific kind of player, I need a specific kind of team. I think Ten Hag's a bit more practical and can make this kind of bodge job lot of players look a bit better.
I mean, how much of Ten Hag's ability or his success at Ajax came from his own ability, or was it due to the Ajax Cruyff philosophy, like the academy of Cruyff? All these players who come up through the Ajax youth systems are taught to play one way, and maybe Erik Ten Hag was a beneficiary of that. Maybe he wasn't the reason that Ajax team did so well. Yes, he organised them well. Yes, they had very good players. But these players were... I know they had like Tadic and, all these other players who had amazing seasons. But how much of that was Ten Hag? I don't really know. I mean, that's maybe a question that someone who's a bit more versed within Ajax could potentially let us know. But I just don't see it. I don't see anything about him that has a redeeming quality. He's not even got the best bald head in the league.
Jeez, and we've got another one coming soon in Arnie Slot, who we'll talk about in a bit. But, like we mentioned earlier, we're going to go back to our How to Fix Manchester United Part 1, where we went through the entire Manchester United squad and chose to keep or sell them. I'll edit this above our heads right now, so if you're an audio listener, go onto YouTube and watch, mate. Basically, I'm going to go through the list as we had it in November, and we're going to react to our decisions, see if we feel the same way now that the season is pretty much over for Man United, and if there's anyone we would change. So let's start with the keeps. Sofiane Amrabat, we had as a staunch keep as well. We were like, oh, that's a good move, blah, blah, blah. Mate,
Don't think we'd seen enough for him.
Mate, he's pants.
Get rid.
Pants. All right, so that's already one change. Up next, Facundo Pellistri.
Keep.
Yeah, I don't mind him. Keep.
I haven't seen enough of him, really.
The reserve keeper, Bayindir.
Keep.
Fine, I'm not mad at that. Casemiro, somehow, in November, we thought was a keep. Maybe he was still riding high off the end of last season where he was one of the best Man United players.
A lot has happened.
The sharp decline in this man needs to be studied, because last season, people had him touted for transfer of the season. People had him in conversations with Rodri and Declan Rice still. Mate, this guy genuinely looks like one of the worst players in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
He's a sell, obviously.
It's an obvious sell.
What the hell has gone wrong with Casemiro? Malacia first, and then Garnacho.
Where is he?
Malacia, we said, I think you said, he's very good, won't complain about being a squad player, pretty happy-go-lucky, no dramas with him, cheap wages, blah, blah. Totally agree. But where the hell has he been?
Yeah, I mean, let's keep him if they can find him, because they need depth at that left back position, because Luke Shaw is not going to be there. But yeah, where is he? Have you seen all the conspiracies about how like a body turned up in a hotel and then people were like, "It's Malacia"?
What?
Have you not seen that?
No.
I'll send it to you later.
Calm.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a keep.
He's fine, like Luke said, squad player, low wages. If he can get himself fit, and
if he's alive,
that's fine. Who knows? Alejandro Garnacho, we got keep. He is a keep. He is.
There are, I think, 3 players in this Manchester United team that they need to build around.
Agreed.
And he is one of them.
Kobbie Mainoo, it's Garnacho, and it's Højlund.
Yep, agreed.
Next, we've got Diego Dallo. You mentioned earlier, probably one of their better performers this season. I totally agree. We said in this video, well, in part 1 of the How to Fix Man United, that he is a very dependable player, but probably shouldn't be Man United's first choice right back. Well, I think we probably still agree with that. He is dependable.
He's not the quality of a top 4 challenging right back, but I think he's a valuable player to that squad. Puts a shift in when he's playing left back or right back.
And he does seem to care a lot more than like some of the other Dons.
I think I totally think he's a keep.
Keep. Tom Heaton, bin him off, don't care. Why is he there? Scott McTominay.
I like Scott McTominay.
I actually saw in the Twitter like transfer scene who's to be believed and who's not to be. Apparently Arsenal are interested in Scott McTominay.
You could play that left 8.
Mate, he actually could.
I really like Scott McTominay.
Yeah, so do I. We have him in keep, so we obviously like him.
I would love to see him go to like a West Ham or, I don't know, maybe a Newcastle, someone like that. And I think he would be a really good like addition.
I think he is one of those players that is good, and Man United fans have kind of brewed this narrative that he is absolutely pants, when it's actually just Man United they're absolutely pants. And
every time I watch him, I think he's composed on the ball, he looks strong, he's athletic, and for me,
gets goals, mate.
He is one of the best transitional players in the Premier League.
And if Ten Hag wants to build the best transitional team in the world, surely Scott McTominay's got a feature.
He starts over Mount, he starts over Eriksen, he starts over Casemiro. He can play anywhere in that midfield 3. He could play the DM, he could play the left 8, he could play the 10. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
Versatile, keep.
Shout out McTominay. Onana. He's a weird guy,
He
isn't
started the season horrifically. And sometimes I watch him, I think, like, why are you trying to make like acrobatic saves when it should be simple?
Every single game, he will do one dumb thing.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum. And maybe, like, I think keep, because you've spent a lot of money on him and, like, there's bigger problems. But in the long term, if you're challenging for the title, you can't have a keeper that's going to have a bozo moment once or twice every single game.
You need a keeper that's just solid and reliable. And he's just not that. And I don't think what he brings in terms of his ability to distribute the ball or be on the ball is worth it.
Yeah.
So for me, he is a keep. He's done well. He's got a great save percentage. He's saved a lot of their ridiculous amount of shots. But maybe one to keep this season and look to upgrade in the future.
Rasmus Højlund.
Keep
Indeed.
I think he's still very raw, still finding his feet a little bit, but I think he'll come good.
We've had him here. So we did where we thought Malacia was. It's very small on the laptop screen. It's Amad Diallo, and we've got Malacia later on. So Amad Diallo.
If I'm United, I'm keeping because I think he's a brilliant player. When he was on loan at Sunderland, he was fantastic, but I think for the sake of his career, he's got to leave.
Yeah, well, even that cameo against Liverpool where he got the goal, you think after that he'd break on and get some games.
Ten Hag is such a terrible manager.
Yeah, Ten Hag just seems to not like him.
I mean, Jadon Sancho's gone on loan and absolutely...
And is close to a Champions League final.
Yeah, Ten Hag, serious questions got to be asked. But yeah, for me, Amad Diallo's a keep. If I'm United, young player, they need depth in those positions, someone who's probably be happy to get some cameo minutes off the bench. But for me, he's got to leave because for the sake of his career, it could very, very quickly stagnate. So maybe go and get yourself a move to the Championship or even a lower Premier League team. Maybe someone like Luton, if they get relegated, could be a good move.
Yeah, don't mind it. Lisandro Martinez.
I would say keep. And I think I will say keep. But if his injury record is anything to go by, you need reliable... You need someone who's going to give you 32 games minimum out of a 38-game season. Yeah. And they're playing so much more than that. But you need someone who's going to be there because you can't have a solid backline if every other week you've got a different centre-back pairing. Especially when centre-backs who you're bringing in their plays aren't good enough. I think he's a good player. I like him. But I don't think he is the man to take that United defence forward.
But keep for now.
Mason Mount. I think you got to keep for at least one more season. He's had a horrendous time with injuries. He
didn't strike me as an injury-prone player at Chelsea, so maybe he has just been unlucky at Man United. Maybe it is like a...
We know how good he can be. So I think you've got to give him a little bit of time. I mean, the thing is, you can't just overhaul this squad completely. You can't rip everyone out.
Just wait, because I'm about to go ham with these next few.
But yeah, for me, I think he's a keep.
Hannibal Medri, bin him off. Who are you? What a waste of time. Luke Shaw, bin him off. Horrible, waste of time. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, bin him off. Horrible, waste of time. And then last but not least, Kobbie Mainoo, keep. Special player.
Yeah, Garnacho, Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo are the three to build around for the future.
And then sales, I assume we haven't kind of done a 180 on any of the sales, but we'll quickly go through them. Anthony, genuinely worst signing in Premier League history.
Yep.
Christian Eriksen, past it, keep on the bin list. Johnny Evans, past it, keep on the bin list. Sergio Reguilon. I don't actually know what his status...
He's at Brentford, no?
Yeah, but is he a Spurs player or is he a Man United player? Or is he a Brentford player?
Mate.
I don't know. I don't actually know what his status is, so we'll bin him off. Bruno Fernandes. We've got him on bin.
I agree. I think it's time to move on. He's a good player. He is a good player. But you've walked yourself into a corner here because you made him captain and he's not captain material. It's a shambles every time I watch him on that pitch, the way trying to lead that team. He is a fantastic footballer on his day, but those days are looking further and farther between.
I agree. Further and farther between.
They just, every time I watch him, he looks less and less like the player he is, and he'll pop up with an occasional good goal or great pass, but it's not consistent enough.
No, and I think we said it in a pod a couple of months ago whenever we did our last Man United rant. He's the player where if the times are good, have him in the team, he'll ball out. If the times are tough, he is the worst kind of player to have on your team.
And for me, he's someone you can get probably 65, maybe even 70 million at a push for, and that's money reinvested into the team.
Yeah, 100%. So I think
he's a definite sell.
Varane, first plane to
Him
Saudi,
and Casemiro,
mate. Yeah.
Straight on that plane.
Victor Lindelof,
yeah,
plane. Harry Maguire,
wherever you can get it, mate.
just send him somewhere. Bless him. He's having a bad time. Who we got here? Anthony Martial. Bin him off.
Who?
Jadon Sancho. Interesting.
Mate.
Maybe he's the only one that we could move to a keep.
What?
On the premise that Ten Hag isn't there.
Yeah.
Smash that, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's obviously a baller. We've seen it time and time again.
He's currently balling out heavy in the Champions
Man United
League.
is just a toxic environment, and I think if I'm him, I'm looking to leave and just stay at Dortmund.
Yeah, 100%.
But if I'm Man United, I'm thinking we need to keep him to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
Because they are lacking.
And that's a big £80 million asset that...
I mean...
If they're going to get rid of Anthony... They can't fucking shit out another £80 million asset.
All I'm saying is that maybe in that group of players that Mainoo, Garnacho and Højlund build around, maybe you could try and build around Jadon Sancho.
I don't hate it.
So, but yeah, I think he's maybe a keep.
And then to round it off, Marcus Rashford, is it time for him to go?
Yes. PSG will come call him.
Apparently Arsenal might come call him. Arsenal are just on this kind of... Are you down in the dumps? We'll pick you up and...
Just good vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think PSG, someone like that might come in. Maybe... I don't think he'll go Saudi.
No, he's too young.
But I think PSG might be the one.
And
I can very much see him come in to fill Mbappe's boots.
Maybe.
And I think it might be good for him.
Oh, yeah, he needs something new, I think. And then Donny van der Beek, I don't even know why he's on the list, mate. What is he doing?
Oh, mate, what a shambles of a squad.
Man United
there is
fans,
so much to do.
Let us know, what players do you really want out of this club, and what players do you think build around?
We should quickly talk about Spurs Liverpool.
I just want to talk about Glasner.
Right, let's bin off Spurs Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%.
Talk about Glasner.
Glasner, he's come in. He had a bit of a rocky middle period. He got a win on his first game, then a bit of a lull. And now he's on this kind of naughty little system where he's got Adam Wharton and, well, let's start from the back. So he's playing 3 at the back now, which Crystal Palace haven't been doing.
Which suits them.
They're getting results with Gay, who's their star centre-back, out injured. 3 at the back, it looks really good. Got Anderson, Chris Richards and Nathaniel Klein at the moment. And then you've got wide fullbacks of Munoz and Tyreek Mitchell.
I really like Munoz.
And let's talk about this naughty little midfield of Adam Wharton and Will Hughes. Will Hughes, I like him. Sometimes Jefferson Lerma plays there. But Adam bloody Wharton. Shout out him, because what a bloody player.
Yeah, I mean, he is so good. I like his aesthetic as well.
Low socks,
Skinhead. He's all about it. And yeah, he's everything. He is a very complete midfielder. And for a young age, he is looking like a man with mature head on his shoulders.
So many good things about him. I think stat-wise, since he's arrived in the Prem, no player's made more tackles. Mm-hmm. So he's a tenacious player, which kind of perfectly aligns with Glasner's high press, kind of energetic style. Got a stat, I'll whack it up here for you. So again, if you're a podcast listener, I'll explain it, but get on YouTube to see the full image. Pre-Glasner, pressures per defensive action, which means the opposing team can get in this many passes before Crystal Palace win the ball. So before Glasner, they'd get 15 passes in on average before Crystal Palace won possession. Now it's down to 12.4 passes. So they're winning the ball back quicker than they ever have. Pressures, less. That means they're more effective at pressuring. Pressures per 90 minutes up from 208 without Glasner to 246. So they are a lot more aggressive, and that, not entirely, but a lot of it is down to Adam Wharton. Like I said, most tackles since he arrived in the Premier League. Should this kid be on the plane?
100%. I mean, someone who just spoke about Kobe Mainu might be in danger of losing what looked to be a pretty assured place, especially with the increase of the squad size to 26. But Adam Wharton, I think, for me, he's got to be the one. It will be difficult because Gareth Southgate likes to go with what he knows. And there is always that little bit of Big Six bias. However, Adam Wharton has been electric, and he could be the answer to the issue of that midfield, that left 8 sort of, who's going to play it.
Well, he's currently playing in midfield 2, and he would be so good in a midfield 2 with Declan Rice.
100%.
You just wouldn't lose any midfield battle. That's like 2 of the most tenacious midfielders in the Premier League.
Gareth has got to be brave here.
And then you could let the attacking talent just do their thing, because you've got
if you could create a box midfield where you could have you'd have Wharton, Rice, Bellingham and Foden in a box midfield, and that would just tear up anyone. That's the best midfield in the world.
So we're going to have to put this out. We'll put this out on all our socials. Guys, let us know. Rice and Mainu or Rice and Wharton?
Or Rice and Phillips.
Jeez, let us know who you're going with, because Adam Wharton, he's got to be in the conversation.
I mean, Crystal Palace, how good are they at just picking gems from the Championship? Adam Wharton from Blackburn, and Mikel Arteta from Reading, and an Eberechi Eze from QPR.
Let's talk about those 2 boys. He's got them playing as dual number 10s now.
Behind the main man, Jean-Philippe Mateta.
My bloody guy.
Boom, 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 boom.
I got you in my room. I got you in my fantasy on a triple captain.
He's so good.
He's so good. He's
Mateta.
on fire, scored an absolute banger against Man United. But the 2 10s of Eze and Elise, mate, that's just pure tech. That's what pretty much is like a blueprint for England. You get 2 kind of hungry, tenacious midfielders, Rice and Wharton, or in this case, Will Hughes and Wharton, and then just techie, creative midfielders in the dual 10s, Foden and Bellingham, Eze and Elise.
All I'm saying is, though, if England went to a 3 at the back, and you had like whoever in goal, don't matter, Walker right centre back, you have John Stones in the middle, and then Branthwaite on the left.
I like it.
You have Trent right back, like right wing back.
I like it.
You have
Bukayo Saka.
Who do you have left wing back?
I don't know. Probably Saka, Maybe just shove it
maybe.
out there.
Wharton, Rice, Foden, Bellingham, Kane.
I like it.
That is unbelievable.
I like it.
But
The only downside to that...
Sacks.
Sacks gets kind of fisted.
Shafted.
And Gareth Southgate hasn't done that ever. But
no, but we used to play three at the back with Walker centre back.
Let us know.
I'm just saying that is versatility. Mate, you could even get bin off Trent and just have Sacks play there.
That's true. Let's go crazy attacking. Crystal Palace fans, are you buzzing about Glasner? Are you glazing Glasner?
Title of the episode.
Don't know why I said that. Right, Liverpool 4, Spurs 2.
We won't stay on this for too long. Liverpool, much better performance. Salah was always destined to come back and put in a performance, which he did. I think he hit the crossbar within about 3 minutes.
What happened there is Liverpool are actually a good team. They've fallen off of the title race because they're competing with two absolute machines that don't look like they're going to fall off. But Liverpool are a good team. They've just fallen off, but are a good team. Like I've said 4 times. Spurs are not a very good team, in my opinion.
I mean, do you know what? I really like Mickey van der Ven, right? But a lot of his shining moments are where Spurs are caught out, and because of his ridiculous pace, he manages to get back and put in a great tackle or block or interception, which is fine. But if you're finding yourself in that position that many times, you have to ask questions. Going forward, they lack teeth. Midfield lacks sort of stability, lacks dominance.
We thought that was like a really solid midfield. Basuma, Bentancur, James Maddison. We thought that was... And then you could put Pat Matsara in there every now and then. But now, I don't know what's happened, if it's Angie's problem, if the players have declined. But Basuma looks pants. His spot isn't solid. Perhaps Matasar's spot isn't solid. Bentancur's spot isn't solid.
Maddison,
like we said last podcast, he is absolute terrible. He's been dropped.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a great... There's a lot of questions being asked about Dange as well. I mean, I know they've lost a doggy. I know that they've had a bit of an semi-injury crisis.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, like, you've got to have more of a plan B, surely. Like, if plan A's not working and you're seriously under the cosh, like, you've got to change something. Maybe it's stubborn.
And
maybe
I don't want to hear it that they're like... So, last game was 4-2 against Spurs, and then before that it was 3-2 against Arsenal. I don't want to hear it that it's tight games, could blah, blah, blah. They were 3-0 down and 4-0 down.
But is it... And
both the teams that beat them took their foot off the gas. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And mistakes let them back into the game.
It's not Spurs have made a game of it. They've been battered first half 2 games in a row.
I mean, if you're almost doing the comeback...
Oh, and
that's not going to get you Champions League football.
Exactly.
Almost comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think maybe there's a few questions to be asked, but I think you got to stick it through with Ange. I think give him another summer, see what can happen. Pulling the trigger too quickly doesn't really benefit anyone.
Agreed.
Unless you're Man United, in which you can't pull the trigger quick enough.
Jeez, I like that. If you want to cop yourself any football garms, Classic Football Shirts is the place to go. We've got a referral link in our description, mate. Use that link and the code BoreDraw10 to save yourself 10% off.
Yeah. That's all I have to say on the matter. Use that link. The Euros is coming very, very soon. Cop yourself some tasty little garbs. We know that in the summer, there's nothing better than going out wearing a nice little retro football shirt. So get yourself on there. They've got some absolutely amazing stuff. And we get a little kickback from the referral link. And you save yourself 10%, so everyone's a winner.
Bish.
But yeah.
Bash. Bosh. We've got some exciting videos coming up. We've got a special one. So obviously this is your standard pod. We've got some exciting videos, so stay tuned. Lined up. But yeah, the Euros is coming up as well, so make sure you are subscribed because we are going to be absolutely churning out so much content. You're going to be loving it. Up
Guys,
the ball draw every single time.
If you have enjoyed, make sure to hit a like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you do comment down below. We do interact with everyone who comments below, and we love to hear what you have to say. It's been BoreDraw episode number 96, and it's live.